How's it going, YouTube? It's your boy Knight. Oh, I'm trying to think how to start this story off. Um, First, this pill's around because, well, I don't have the greatest back as of today, so I had to find comfortable ways to sit if I choose to sit. So, I want to tell people, anyone who doesn't even have hope or is concerned or doesn't know, God is out there. God is real. Like, I can't stress it enough. He's there. Now, he's perfect. So, what does that mean? His timing is never wrong. Sometimes the timing for you to get something doesn't happen, and you think, oh, this is God's fault. This is not right. This is wrong. And because of that, you're either mad at God, you don't believe in God, you blame God, something like that. You just lose faith. Whatever happens, happens. A lot of people were like that. I never was like that. I was raised to follow the Ten Commandments, but I'm not gonna go into that now. I'm gonna just go into what I had to tell you all. 2 years ago, I made my commitment to Christ, and I'm proud. I'm so proud. Like, Christ is just the best thing I've ever known, ever. And I'm just so happy about that because, I don't think it was anyone else that could have helped me be happy again. So 2 years ago, I had the devil angry, furious. Lucifer was mad. Why would Lucifer be mad? I'm a sinner. I'm a human. I make mistakes just like everyone else. Because at age 20, I turned my life around. I was living a very bad lifestyle. It was hidden. It was quiet. It was behind closed doors for the most part. And honestly, I cleaned it up. And I'm proud of myself because I didn't know I'd be able to do it. I actually had a lot of doubt in my mind. I hid from people, not all people, most people, for over a year because I was afraid. I was afraid I was going to be like them, and I didn't want to be like them. And I'm not saying, like, every person in the world is a bad person. No, I don't mean that. I'm just saying there was a certain way that I wasn't trying to be because I found out it was sinful. And I know sins are contagious. So, on to how God is real and He's there. I gotta get to it because you have to know. And these things that have happened to me, they're just so unexplainable. So the first thing that happened 2 years ago was I changed my life. I started committing to Christ. I didn't know everything right then and there. And the devil knows that. The devil's not going to come after you and try to get you killed or to hurt you or anything like that when you're serving him. There's no reason for that. He wants you to continue to serve him. But if you continue to serve him and see all this bad stuff happening, then why are you going to do it? No one's going to do that. That'd be stupid. We all want happiness in this life. So what you got to do to get happiness is what you got to do to get happiness. On the year where I had committed my life to Christ, I had seen a few things. First of all, I was getting visions. They were not, what's the word? They were not self made. So, what I mean by that is I didn't just think about it and make it happen. It was pretty inconvenient for the most part. It just kind of happened. And I'll describe visions in a little while after I get on to what happened. So, I went to Florida. I believe I was 20 at this time. Maybe I was 21. I'm pretty sure I was 20. I could be wrong. And, you know, the devil sent Death Angel after me. Now, Death Angel, this is something that's not even hard to explain. I'm going to explain this as best I can. Imagine someone who's trying to kill you or trying to hurt you. They chase you, they follow you, they look to find out any information they can about where you're going. And they'll do anything possible to stay around you so they can get you, so they can kill you, so they can do whatever they want to do to you to hurt you. And honestly, this is Death Angel, but Death Angel isn't a person. Don't get that wrong. That's not true. Death Angel is a demon, a spirit, and she just she does anything to get you killed. When we went to Florida to visit my brother, I live in Massachusetts. I had three things happen to me. They went in this order, and I'm gonna explain how each of them could have had me killed. Number one, there was a gasoline leak in the house, and well, there's a few things about this that are gonna be kind of crazy. Number one, I was the only one in the house when this happened. Number two, everyone else was almost an hour away or more in a car. And then number three, my brother kept talking about how this was normal. He said that when he goes to edit the jet skis and basically, take them apart and do whatever he needs to do with them, then they smell a little bit like gasoline. But this smell was so strong. I just want you to imagine his house. If I had to run around it, a jog, it would take, I'd say, roughly 30, 40 seconds. His house is like a big square. House is huge. And I honestly didn't, know. I didn't really know what to do. I mean, I smelled gasoline. It was getting really strong. Like it was as if I was at a gas station. I was right near the machine, but it was like someone was pouring it out or making a fume with it. Not a fire, an actual fume, like a smell. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't realize when I was there at this age, gasoline is a silent killer. And that was the first way he tried to kill me. It's very, very, very smart. He's a genius, man. I can't stress that enough. He gets people with the craziest things, and they don't even see it. They just think he's make believe. I see it. There's been a lot I've seen, and that was one of the telltale signs God was watching over me. Because my mom came home early and she recognized it smelled way too strong in there. I was there for about 30, 40 minutes with this smell around, and I didn't pass out. If you replace the oxygen in your lungs with anything that's not oxygen, you're going to die. You're not going to be able to survive long after that because your body needs oxygen. So, anyway, moving on. The next thing that happened was we were on the road. I believe it was at nighttime, 7, 8 o'clock. It was real dark out. There was a drunk driver, and he was kind of going like this with his car, swerving left and right. I actually could be wrong. He might not even be drunk. I don't remember. I don't remember it as well as I should. I remember the gasoline incident and the next one really well. And he almost hit us. And my brother seen him when he was driving the car. And this was the first time, I repeat, the first time I decided to go out with them. They had gone out multiple nights in a row. This was the summer that I was in Florida. And it's kind of like, oh, who cares? We can just have fun, party, do whatever, because, it's the summer. No school. You might have to work, but I mean, you don't have to work on that day. So that almost happened. That was something that I didn't see as a big sign because, people are drunk all the time. People do stupid things all the time. Now, I'm not here to judge anyone, but in reality, I don't really see the pluses of getting drunk. Others do, but I don't. So moving on. The third one was on the way home. I seen a vision. So this is how visions are. They're not like what you may think or have seen on TV they look like. It's not like you see something like on a screen in front of you or maybe on a wall or anything like that, or you close your eyes and no, 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 it doesn't even work like that. Have you ever been in class? All right, the teacher's boring you, you're kind of like this, just kind of slouching sideways, and then you just kind of close your eyes, and then you're falling asleep. Or better yet, you're bored and you're just looking like this. And then you kind of just start thinking about things and they kind of just appear in your line of sight instead of what's actually in front of your line of sight. That's how visions are. That's it's like it's literally as if you put a new image in your eyeballs. You could see it as if you're there. Well, I seen a vision when we were getting ready to go home in the airport. I seen it from another perspective. When I say another perspective, I mean it wasn't me who seen this. It was someone else. I could see they were in the same little area we were in. Where all the chairs right near the entering gate of the airport. Um, the vision I seen was them looking out the window and the planes going up and up and up. And all of a sudden, right when it got to the end of the runway where the water was, it just stopped and then just dropped down. And I was really scared at this point. But I didn't want everyone to know that I knew this was going to happen because they would freak out too. And it could be bad. Or worse. Worse could happen as well. People who don't believe things tend to get a little overly aggressive at times, especially when it has to do with their life. So I told my mom, I was like this to her. I was like, yeah, mom, I just got a vision. The plane's gonna go down. That's what I seen. She's like, oh, well, we need to pray, blah, 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 blah. And, we decided to do just that because, I agree with her. Praying is huge. And just so you know, this is what happened the last time I didn't pray. I got a vision about my uncle dying. And I was just like, oh, I was just me thinking negative. And 3 months later, he died. I didn't pray for him. I didn't talk to God about it. I didn't do anything. I felt really crappy about that. Because honestly, if I know what's going to happen before it happens, then, I can do something about that. But not everyone has that gift. And I knew praying was a way to change the outcome of the future. The future as I see it. Now that you got that in your head, I always looked at prayer as something that was pretty useless, but I was wrong. I'm 22 right now. I pray every night. I pray over everything. I'm starting to pray about every bad thing that happens in my life as well. You know, Praying is really helpful. I don't know if it's about commitment or length or perfect timing. I know God is perfect, but it works when it needs to work. I mean, I have this laptop I'm doing this video on right now. This isn't my MacBook, and I'm on PowerDirector, which is a Windows application. So, if you'd like to describe how a poor person like myself, who can't even afford Xbox Live all the time, can get a laptop, feel free. Moving on. I told her about this vision, and so we prayed. Then we got on the plane, and we prayed again. We always prayed before we went and lifted off. And as we lifted off, things were cool. It was going up, going up, going up, and then all of a sudden, let's pretend this is the airplane. The plane just went boom, boom like that in midair. It just felt like we was about to drop like that. Just dropped straight out the sky. We were all so scared. My heart was just beating. My stomach sunk. I felt like I was dropping. I felt like my clothes were going like this. We were about to fall out the sky. And then after that, it was like this is all about to happen. And then something just caught it. And then everything started going smooth again. And then we were just flying. It was so weird. And the pilot had said that we ran into an airwave of a plane that had came through before us. But I didn't really see how it made sense that the whole plane had lost its control. Like the wings were like this. And I'm sorry, I was off screen a little. If the wings were like this, how it just regained its balance so fast. I mean, I know airplanes do amazing things that I can't even tell you how they do them, but that just didn't make any sense to me. And you know, I was so happy and just I just smiled. I just smiled so much because I knew God was there. God said, "This plane isn't going down." He was like, "One of my children prayed to me, and I'm gonna keep this plane up." And this was one of the three big things that happened the last 2 years to me that say God is there. He's watching. He's always watching. I don't care about what's happened in your life, who you are, what kind of person you are. We're all sinners and we're all people. We all deserve forgiveness, and God loves you, whoever you are. It doesn't matter who you are. That's the truth. That's for all those who may have, lost faith or be confused in life. I mean, I understand. I was, if I had to go back in my past, I was raised up on Jesus about age 10, got baptized. And for 2 years, or almost 2 years, I was pretty perfect, pretty clean, not negative or anything. But then I got corrupted by others. And I've strayed away from the negativity and the bad and came back 10 years later, at age 20. Or actually, it was 8 years after I got corrupt. But, you know, it's hard. I completely understand. I'm not doubting anyone's struggle. I want people to try it. I mean, I wouldn't say, "Oh God, can you please get me this?" and just say, "Oh, he didn't get me. He's not real." No, no, no. I want you to devote part of your life to him. Just try it. Just talk to him. You know, he's always listening. And that's what this video is really about. I want you guys to see these things that he's done for me. And it's only been 2 years that I committed my life to him. Only been 2 years. For 22 years, I've been following the Ten Commandments. For 2 years, I've been following the Bible and the Ten Commandments. So now, let's fast forward a year. Age 21, I'm in college. I was on the last day, okay? Last day for books because classes was the next day. I agree, this is very irresponsible of me to go get books on the last day. I had my financial aid counselor sign me a paper so I could get, books for free. I just bring the paper and say, "Here you go." Just give it to them like that, and they would just check out the books. They just need my ID. Um, well, when I went to school that day, me and my mom were there. It's my right hand man, her technically woman, because she's basically like a best friend to me. And she she wanted to help me get what I needed so we could go. And what happened was, financial aid counselor wrote the wrong date on the paper. So I think it was July. All right. I think we were in like July 8th, July 9th. And she wrote May. So she wrote this a few days before that day I went there as well. But she wrote May, the wrong date. And so we brought this paper to financial aid support in the school. And to skip a long story, the guy told us the only thing he could do was take away from my financial aid refund. Now, what is that? If you don't know what financial aid is in college, basically they will pay for your classes, and at least halfway through the semester, you will get that money back. And after you get that money back, then you could do whatever you want with it. And he said he had to take out of the refund money I was going to get back to get those books. That was the only way he could do it because, the paper was written incorrectly and I had no money. And, it was just all a bad situation. And this is one of those situations, like I was just saying earlier, when it needs to happen, it's going to happen. So I told him, go ahead, do that. And I realized out of $400, maybe $500, I was going to get back because two classes is $200 or $300 each. I was only going to get like 200, 300 back. And I was kind of sad about that because I knew I was going to have to cut down on anything that I was going to buy for the year or needed. And I was going to have to go for anything that I had to buy, like for sure had to buy without even waiting to think about it. And so he went to check. He got on the computer. He just got all focused and started doing his thing. And then all of a sudden, he's like, "Well, this is strange." And me and my mom were like, "What happened?" He's like, "You have two accounts." Now, you probably are thinking, "Hey, maybe you made two accounts with the college." Well, there's three problems with that. Number one, students don't make accounts. Students enroll, and when they get there, their account's made. Number two, I don't have any money to spend on college. In fact, I barely have money to spend on myself. And then the third thing is that I don't even know what the second account he was talking about was named, but it had my name on it. Apparently, it had my name. Like the account in my college, like if I had my username, it's RT Penrose, Ray, and then T's for my middle name, and then Penrose. And it's like he's like, there's two accounts here with your name on it. I was like, oh, he's like, and then one of them has $430 in it. And I was just like, what? And I just looked at my mom. I was just like, with this crazy face, like, I don't know where that came from. And so that money is what we used to get books. It was more than enough. And I couldn't explain it. I was just so happy because, God was there again. This was 1 year later, maybe not even a full year, but this is just the next year. And honestly, I can't say anything about it. I could just say that's a blessing. That's awesome. And some miraculous miracle, if I guess some people will call it, wouldn't really make sense for, money to suddenly specifically be on my name in a time where I need money. And this account was never there before. In fact, we've been to financial aid support multiple times in that year. And, he looked up my stuff and all that. And he never mentioned seeing a second name. I couldn't see the computer back then, couldn't see it this last time I seen the guy. But to know God cares that much about me and getting what I need is really awesome. So, on to the last one. This was the most magical, crazy, amazing, loving thing I have seen ever. So, I was laying in bed, okay? Now I'm going to show you guys exactly how I was laying in bed. Let me move this back a little bit. I was laying in bed, kind of like this. I had my right leg up on the wall, kind of like this. And I was just minding my business on this laptop. And all of a sudden, there was this sharp pain right here, right here on my knee. And I don't really know where it came from, but if I had to explain it, it was so painful that I had to stop everything I was doing to put my leg back down because it wouldn't hold my leg up. It was as if you're trying to use a 12-year-old who's never lifted weights or worked on their muscles to lift like 200 pounds. It's just not going to work. You're going to hurt yourself. And it was like as if my leg weighed too much to hold. And I was in so much pain. And I was trying to, to remain calm because if you don't realize it by now, I just explained it early in the video. My back isn't in the greatest condition, lower back specifically. And well, when you can't bend your back forward to get things, even though you're supposed to bend your legs to get them anyway, then you need to, squat down to get stuff when it's below your hip because normal human reach goes about to the thigh. And, without being able to kind of go like this with your back when you're standing, then you're unable to bend down. And my life's been a mess. And it was just really frustrating because well, I figured out from minor testing on my bed that this pain was coming from pressure on the knee when I used the thigh and the thigh only. So, what do I mean by that? What is using the thigh only? The thigh only is when you put a load of pressure on your thigh and it still goes through your leg, but it causes a major pressure in this little area. I don't know exactly what spot in the area. I'm not like a science person. I believe it's somewhere over here on the right. It's my right knee, and somewhere on this left side. And this pressure it was hurting so bad. Like I couldn't do this. This would hurt right here, what I'm doing. And this happened Saturday, December 5th. Today is December 11th. I think it's Friday. It's been 6 days. You're like, well, if you're having this super large pain, how are you able to do this today? Well, I'm gonna get to that. Don't worry. And so with this large pain, I was frustrated because now I realized to to squat, you had to put all this pressure on your thigh, which relies on your knees and calves in solid shape to hold it all together. So I was frustrated, and I'm actually going to take you guys with me. I'm going to show you exactly where I went, what I did, type of things that I said, because I want you to know. I want you to get this entire experience. So here I am in my living room. I'm going to walk into my room. I had literally got up and I'm just limping like this. And I had to get up 3 times after this happened. I'm gonna turn the lights on so you guys can definitely see me out here. One of the times when I was coming back out here, I was just mad. I was really mad. I was mad because I just can't deal. Like, I want to live my life, all right? And with lower back pain, I can't really clean that well. My room isn't looking the greatest right now because of that. It's a second thought that there's going to be pain any single time, any and every single time I want to get down like this. Right now, I'm crouching on my legs. It's the only way I can do it without pain. But I couldn't do this. I'm telling you, this is what would hurt. This and lifting up my thigh without using my calf. So I was coming through here, and I was kind of like, devil, you have no place in my life. Pain has no place in my life. You do not have a place to be here. You don't have any right to be in my life. You need to get out. You need to leave. You need to find somewhere else to go because you don't belong here. And I meant it. I was really frustrated because, like, this sucks. I can't get down. I look down at stuff and I see things on the floor. I see stuff that needs to be cleaned, but I can't clean it because this pain in my knee. And I'm so mad. I'm just so mad at the devil. I know it's the devil. I'm not even ready to blame God. I don't really understand why it happened. And so I did that. I said some more. It wasn't anything bad. That was the main thing I said. And well, I went to bed that night. I think it was 2 or 3 a.m. I couldn't walk. I had to stumble everywhere. And I remember I woke up at 6 a.m. and he was pulsating. When I say pulsating, I mean like I felt something like this kind of like just little taps just all over the entire knee. Now, this pain was on the right of my knee. If you want to get an exact location of where this was, on the right side of my knee cap is where if you bend it, it feels kind of like a sideways L, like the little twist, but it's not 90 degrees. It's a much larger angle. I think that's the word. Yeah, larger angle. It's a much larger angle than 90 degrees with the L. And so it would be an awkward looking L. It'd be capital, not a lowercase. And I remember I woke up, I think it was about 12, 1, and I was laying sideways, and then I got ready to lift my leg, and I was scared. I was like, I know, I'm second thinking, just like I did with my back. I'm scared. I know this pain is, it exists, and I don't want to hurt myself. So then I'm gonna show you what I did with my leg. It was just kind of here on the bed like that, and I just kind of slid off like this because I didn't want to put that additional pressure on, my thigh to lift the whole leg, which would have hurt my knee. And all of a sudden, I got up and it was gone. I'm telling you, it was gone. It was. I was like, I can walk again, and I was just so ecstatic. Like I just started. I got up and I just started walking around. It was gone, and you could just see me just walking around. I was like, you know what? I want to test this, and I can show you guys today. I can jump. This pain was a 9 out of 10, and I can jump. You see this? I'm showing you now. I'm able to jump because this doesn't hurt. And you know, I did pray to God about this, but I didn't pray to God in an angry manner or like this is your fault. I prayed to Him, but I wasn't thinking about myself. I actually prayed about someone else this night when I was in so much pain I couldn't walk. And the only things on my mind before I prayed was, oh, how am I going to get to school Monday? I'm not playing ball. I'm going to have to write everything down about how this happened so I can tell the doctor on Tuesday. And, that's how I remember the date and, how I was laying and all that stuff because I was going to write this all down to tell my doctor. But on Sunday morning, I wake up and it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. It's gone. And that's the love of God showing me that He's here. I needed it. I needed it. I needed it. I needed it. If my mom had to take me to school on Monday, she would have had to be late for work. That'd be less money for her, which inevitably, if I ever needed money, would have been less money for me. I live alone, but I don't make enough to spend money when I want. And that's the love of God. That's awesome. It's just so unbelievable. I love telling people this story because they just sit there and they're kind of like they just don't know. They don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I'm just telling you the truth. You know, I was just so excited to spread this around. This is 100% proof of anything you've ever wondered about the love of God. And I had to share it. When this is the second going on 3 straight years that I've had God do something amazing for me. And I'm happy. I hope you get something like this. Hope whoever's watching gets something like this. If there's ever any needed help with prayer, I always say, end in Jesus' name, amen. Never forget to thank God. Always repent things that are like requirements of prayer. And, you know, if you want to turn your life around, you should get to reading, get to asking somebody. I'm sure someone will help you. There's no reason not to. Now, I'm going to end this before it gets to 34, 35 minutes. But I just want to say thank you for watching this video if you watched the whole video. I don't have a reason to lie. I mean, you just witnessed me do a jump in front of the camera. I jumped pretty high too. I was actually about 9, 10 inches up. And that's a lot in the house. I don't like to jump high in the house because, well, I'll hit my head on the ceiling. The ceiling's about 7 feet high, I'd say, or 6.5, something like that. It's not that high. So, yeah, I'm going to end this. Thank you for watching. God bless.